Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars! Star Wars coloring book.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy, the wise and powerful Sith Lord himself, Darth Vader. Today I'll be going over the top 10 lightsaber duels. The only catch is that I will only be using duels that happen in Star Wars canon, simply because every single duel from the Knights of the Old Republic trailers would blow all the lightsaber duels in canon out of the water. I also won't be doing any lightsaber duels that took place within the comic books or novels, only because they are very vague compared to a lot of the ones that happened on screen, regardless if they happen within canon or not. But since there are some great lightsaber duels in comics, I'll provide reading recommendations in the links below. And you guys should definitely check out Darth Vader Volume 2. It's my most favorite comic book out right now, and I enjoy it more than The Amazing Spider-Man. I thought I would never see something like that in my life. So without further ado, let's get to it. Darth Vader vs. Ahsoka Tano, Star Wars Rebels. When the trailer for Star Wars Rebels Season 2 premiered and showed a clash between Darth Vader and his former Padawan Ahsoka Tano, I couldn't recall a duel receiving so much hype for a trailer other than Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, which was the first time we got to see Darth Maul and his double-sided lightsaber. Taking place in the Season 2 finale of Star Wars Rebels, roughly 5 years before the Battle of Yavin in Episode 4, Ahsoka Tano goes toe-to-toe with her former master, Darth Vader. Since Ahsoka Tano is not featured in any of the original trilogy movies or any other sort of canon media other than the Clone Wars era, except for her novel, most fans speculated that she was killed at the hands of Darth Vader himself when the Season 2 trailer of Star Wars Rebels premiered. We know from the Clone Wars TV and Ahsoka novel series that Ahsoka Tano is a prodigy among Jedi Padawan. In the Star Wars Rebels series, she became more powerful than she was before the Great Jedi Purge. This is evidenced by her being tested with capturing Darth Maul before the Order 66 took place, and also by defeating an Inquisitor single-handedly without the use of a lightsaber. Some of the Inquisitors that she defeated were former Jedi Knights, a rank that Ahsoka did not manage to achieve during her time as a Jedi. But would it have been enough to stand against the greatest Jedi killer of all time? Ahsoka does manage to briefly fight with Darth Vader at impasse, but Darth Vader steadily gains ground on Ahsoka as the duel goes on. He gains a significant upper hand in the battle. Ahsoka then sacrifices herself by just staying in front of Darth Vader to protect her friends Kanan and Ezra. I assume that Ahsoka falls at the hands of Darth Vader, but some speculate that she was spared by Darth Vader, for there's a blurry figure in the distance at the end of the episode. Mace Windu vs. Darth Sidious. After finding out the true identity of Darth Sidious, Mace Windu gathers 3 of the most prominent and powerful Jedi, all from the Jedi Council, to assist him in arresting Councilor Palpatine. To put this into perspective, Mace Windu was considered to be one of the top 5 greatest Jedi of all time among his peers. Some consider him to be as good as Yoda, if not better. And one of the Jedi Masters that accompanied Windu, named Kit Fisto, Mace thought Fisto to have unrivaled lightsaber skills. But to be honest, there is many differentiating opinions about how good and powerful a character is, not only among Star Wars fans, but also among the characters within the Star Wars series. However, you can take whatever Vader says as law and the correct opinion about the Star Wars universe. When the fight starts, Darth Sidious murders 3 of the 4 Jedi within seconds, and that just shows the level that Darth Sidious is on. Mace Windu and Sidious engage in an epic duel. Mace Windu goes all out and even manages to disarm Sidious, and nearly kills him before being betrayed by Anakin Skywalker. Most Star Wars gurus across the board regarding the Star Wars legends and canon depictions agree that Sidious was holding back in order to turn Anakin to the dark side, as evidence due to Sidious' power and Windu's ineptitude. He was able to kill 3 of the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy in seconds in a 4-against-1 fight. According to George Lucas, Mace did legitimately disarm Windu in a lightsaber duel, and that is true. But it was primarily due to Sidious underestimating Windu, as he could have easily killed him much earlier if he wanted to. Luke Skywalker vs. Darth Vader 3, Return of the Jedi. Yes, you heard that right. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader actually fought 3 times in Star Wars canon. Technically 2 1/4. The first time they locked blades before the Empire Strikes Back in the Star Wars comic. It wasn't much of a fight, and Darth Vader said Luke uses the lightsaber the way that a child swings a toy. And Luke sucks so bad that it's insulting, wasting energy to kill him. The second time, of course, was Empire Strikes Back, after Luke trains with Yoda, and at this time, Vader says, impressive, most impressive. something Vader rarely said to anybody, and I mean it. He threw a lot of shade to some pretty powerful people. And of course, the third time was in Return of the Jedi. We don't know much about what happened to Luke between episode 5 and 6 in Star Wars canon, but we do know that in that time period, Yoda deemed Luke powerful enough to take on 2 Sith Lords, something Yoda couldn't even do himself. And this is further evidenced by Luke outdueling Vader the entire fight. And in both Star Wars Legends and canon, Vader is considered to be the most prolific duelist there ever was during his day. And the best part about this fight is that at the very end, where Vader tries to turn Luke to the dark side, the music cue is and emotion is just perfect. Anakin Skywalker and ObiWan Kenobi versus Count Dooku. What makes this duel so exemplary is that the fact that the content behind this battle is just as exceptional as the choreography itself. Count Dooku was noted to be arguably the best Jedi fencer during the Clone Wars era. He was the master to Obi-Wan's master, Qui-Gon Jinn, and also the apprentice of both Yoda and Darth Sidious. He is also one of the very few people the best at Mace Windu in a lightsaber duel, and fight Yoda to a stalemate twice. In this battle, we have Count Dooku taking on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker at the same time, with Supreme Councilor Palpatine as audience. This mirrors the last fight that happened in Star Wars Episode 6, where Darth Sidious attempted to seduce Luke Skywalker to the dark side. As we know from digging much deeper into the canon lore, that Darth Sidious was influencing Anakin over the entirety of his Jedi training, slowly trying to draw him to the dark side, and eventually take him as his own apprentice. After the two Jedi engage Dooku, Dooku dispatches Obi-Wan due to his superior command of the Force, leaving Anakin to take on Dooku all by himself. The two have dueled to a stalemate several times after their first encounter. Nearly killing Obi-Wan and provoking Anakin, Count Dooku awakens the beast within the young Skywalker. As Anakin tapped into his emotions and delivered a barrage of lightsaber strikes unlike anything Count Dooku has ever witnessed before. After severing Count Dooku's head and leaving him helpless, Anakin is distracted by Councilor Palpatine to decapitate Count Dooku. As powerful as the once Jedi and now Sith Lord, Count Dooku now realized that it was all part of an elaborate scheme to turn Anakin Skywalker into the new apprentice of Darth Sidious. Yoda vs. Darth Sidious, Revenge of the Sith. What happens when arguably two of the most powerful Force users and duelists go head to head in the Star Wars universe? Pure awesomeness. Allow me to explain the context of this duel. Yoda was the Grand Master of the Jedi Temple, considered to be the second most Force-sensitive individual known to the Jedi after Anakin Skywalker. He taught Jedi for over half a millennia and was also considered to be the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy, as well as the greatest Jedi of all time during the Clone Wars. Darth Sidious was known by many at any point in time throughout Star Wars lore due to the nature of the Sith, and even after becoming the Emperor of the Galaxy, he still kept his Sith nature a secret to the public. But those who knew him personally considered him to be the most powerful being in the galaxy. Said people are Darth Maul, who has dueled some of the most powerful Jedi in the series, Darth Vader, the greatest Jedi killer of all time, and also never surpassed Sidious due to his crippled cybernetic nature. And most importantly, Count Dooku, who was considered to be the most prolific lightsaber duelist at the time of the Clone Wars. And Dooku was Yoda's former Padawan as well, and Qui-Gon Jinn's master, and fought Yoda to a stalemate twice. Not to mention he has a win almost every duelist he fought against, including Ventress, Skywalker, Kenobi, and Mace Windu. Sorry for the long-winded explanation, but it needed to be said. In the novel depiction of Revenge of the Sith is said that Yoda and Sidious engaged in a battle unlike anything the galaxy has ever witnessed before. As you can see from the movie, it's unlike anything we've seen before in Star Wars. Unlike every other duel before it, the stakes have never been so high. The galaxy is literally on the line in this duel. Yoda manages to outduel Sidious and disarm him of his lightsaber, but like the case of Mace Windu, Sidious is just as dangerous with or without a lightsaber. The fight ends in a draw, but technically it's a win for Sidious, because you know how the saying goes, any neutrality between the oppressed and the oppressor sides with the oppressor. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. Regardless of what you think about the prequels, if you're not one of those fans that only love the original trilogy, no one can deny the hype that the trailer for The Phantom Menace when it had first premiered. And then when we saw for the first time Darth Maul wielding a lightsaber pike fighting his two Jedi, I was barely old enough to remember, to be honest, but I'm sure people are all like, hold up, this guy has a double-bladed lightsaber, is that even legal? And he's about to throw down against two Jedi? Oh my god, what is life? Needless to say, this duel did everything but disappoint. The amazing choreography was not only groundbreaking for Star Wars, but for movies as a whole. First, Darth Maul is fighting against Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, giving them both the hands. Then Darth Maul fighting Qui-Gon Jinn one-on-one and outclasses him. Finally, in rage, Obi-Wan pops back into the fray after his master gets impaled and gives Darth Maul a serious run for his money. A performance that immediately promoted him into Jedi Knighthood. Eventually, he puts the Padawan in his place, but unfortunately, due to plot armor, gets maimed by Obi-Wan at the end of the battle. Obi-Wan and Asajj Ventress versus Darth Maul and Savage Opress. To be honest, I made this list last year and I forgot to add the 10th slot on this list. I didn't discover that I had a missing entry until I started editing this video. I really wanted to add Vader and Luke's duel from Empire Strikes Back on this list, at least just for the sake of novelty, but I felt that there is plenty of duels in Star Wars that were far better. All the fights on this list notwithstanding, and plenty of others that didn't make the cut, and it's mainly due to the choreography from Episode 5 being outdated. There's plenty of flinching and pausing and whatnot. Anyway, taking number 4 on this list is the best 2-on-2 duel in all of Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Asajj Ventress versus Darth Maul and Savage Opress. I'm pretty sure Darth Maul has the record for being the most exciting duels in Star Wars. And for those of you who don't know, Darth Maul didn't die in Episode 1. He also has a brother, but if you want to know more, just watch the Clone Wars series on Netflix. You won't regret it. The tag team choreography in this fight is perhaps the best in Star Wars. It's fast-paced, it's intuitive, it's nail-biting, and it has all the needed ingredients for a great Star Wars fight. So how do you top that? Obi-Wan Kenobi and Adigala versus Maul and Savage Opress. Over the course of the Clone Wars era, and even during the rise of the Empire, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul dueled each other several times. However, I felt their best confrontation Obi-Wan Kenobi had with Maul actually was a tag team duel with his brother Savage Opress. After getting bested by Maul in their previous encounter, and in this battle, we get to see exactly why Obi-Wan is considered the greatest defensive master in the history of the Jedi. The battle starts out with Obi-Wan Kenobi and fellow Jedi Master Adigala tracking down and intercepting the two former Sith apprentices. Master Adigala is outmatched by Savage Opress and gets impaled through the stomach by Opress's horns, leaving Obi-Wan Kenobi to fight both dark side users by himself. When Darth Maul and Savage Opress corner Obi-Wan in a pirate hideout, Obi-Wan activates his and Adigala's lightsaber, and we get the best Obi-Wan one-liner in all of Star Wars.
Surrender. We are two, and you are no match for us both.
You are mistaken.
That's 10 times better than when he said, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." Obi-Wan Kenobi fends off attacks from both duelists, and when it seems as if all hope is lost, he manages to slice off one of Savage Opress's arms. Brutal. Then by some way of plot armor, again loses but survives the battle as Darth Maul decides to force push him into some debris in order to save his brother from bleeding to death. Darth Sidious versus Maul and Savage Opress. This overall has to be my favorite fight in the Star Wars animated series. It's very rare that we get to see Darth Sidious in combat throughout Star Wars, but needless to say, every time we see the Dark Lord of the Sith in combat, we're in for a special treat. With the re-emergence of Darth Maul during the Clone Wars and Maul trying to become the Lord of the Sith Empire himself, he eventually received the attention of Counselor Palpatine. After amassing a Mandalorian army in hopes of controlling the galaxy, but Darth Sidious isn't having that. Darth Sidious then goes to Darth Maul's stronghold and challenges both him and his younger brother to a 2-on-1 duel. And for the first time, we see evidence that Darth Sidious actually carries 2 lightsabers. This battle demonstrates the excellency of Darth Sidious' dual skills as well as his almost unrivaled prowess in the ways of the Force, absolutely manhandling both Darth Maul and Savage Opress simultaneously. After Darth Sidious is tired of toying with Savage Opress, he quickly disposes of him and reminds Maul of the errors of his ways when he says,
"Remember, the first and only reality of the Sith. There can only be 2, and you are no longer my apprentice."
Enraged by the death of his brother, Darth Maul, now officially known by simply Maul, activates his black lightsaber and summons the strength given to him by the loss of his brother and briefly duels Sidious in impasse. Once Sidious realized this, he used the Force to subdue him and torture him instead of killing him entirely. Anakin Skywalker versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, Revenge of the Sith. This is hands down the most epic lightsaber duel of all time. Obi-Wan Kenobi was the youngest Jedi to ever become a Jedi Master and become a member of the Jedi Council. He was considered by many to be the perfect example of a Jedi, and some even viewed him as the finest the Order had to offer. Irrefutably, he is considered to be the greatest offensive lightsaber master during his day, and was designated to train the Chosen One himself to become a Jedi Knight. Anakin Skywalker was the Chosen One, the greatest general and hero of the Clone Wars. Thought to surpass any Jedi of his time, was considered by many to be the most powerful Jedi in the Order, especially after his victory against Count Dooku. Anakin single-handedly revolutionized Form 4 and Form 5 of lightsaber dueling, and had the fastest blade work of any duelist of his time, perhaps all of Star Wars, with his resume only being surpassed with his future self as Darth Vader.
Here, I'll show you. 1.
He's amazing.
3.
I've watched these recordings to help me with my own saber training.
5.
You should have seen him in person.
4.
Kanan said he was the greatest warrior the Jedi had in the Clone Wars.
He was powerful.
This fight is just a brilliant masterpiece. Throughout the fight, Anakin has Obi-Wan on the defensive. Obi-Wan, being the smart Jedi that he is, knows to turn the fight into a marathon, which can allow him to expose a flaw in those more powerful than him. On paper, Anakin should have made short work of Obi-Wan. Anyway, guys, this is your boy, Brian Meeses, the wisest and most powerful of all nerds. I will see you guys next time with my top 5 worst lightsaber duels, arrogance and hubris. I will also be doing a giveaway for this Star Wars portrait picture, something. It's based off the Marvel issue 1 of Star Wars before, not the canon version, but it's still pretty cool. I'm doing this giveaway. All you gotta do is subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it amongst your friends on any one of your social media platforms, and you could be selected to win this prize.